if your interface is not incoherent, if it is coherent or semi-coherent, then they are, because of lattice parameter dysregistry across the interface, lattice strain can also come into picture. So for if sigma is the strain energy per unit volume, then if you consider strain energy, your delta G will now be of, what is I? I is the number of atoms in the embryo. What was lambda? Volume per atom of the embryo. What is I lambda? Volume per atom of embryo multiplied by number of atoms in the embryo will give you volume of the embryo. Volume of the embryo multiplied by delta GV plus that sigma, the strain energy, plus the gamma part. What is the area? I should be proportional to whatever I to the power 2/3. I is the number of atoms per unit volume. So 1/3 of that multiplied by, so to make it surface per unit volume. So to make it surface term, so multiplied by some term, say some constant alpha. So this is increase in strain energy associated with the formation of unit volume of embryo. Sigma is the strain energy per unit volume of embryo, because that's why we could put both these terms, both are per unit volume of embryo inside the term, and now you can just take delta G, delta I equal to 0 like we did before. Delta G, delta R equal to 0. R, where is the R is the size, here size is being taken care of I. If it is spherical, then you will have a relation between I and R. Whatever delta G, delta R equal, so take the derivative of delta G with respect to the size, make it 0, you will get the delta G star, you will get the R star or I star. The only thing you have to add is the strain energy term. Strain energy per unit volume of the embryo. So if it is incoherent nucleation, then no crystallographic continuity across the, so we consider two cases. One is incoherent, one is coherent or semi-coherent. If it is incoherent, so your nucleus or the embryo that is forming is incoherent with the metric space, then there is an abrupt change in structure and composition across the interface. Interface width is a few atoms, and interfacial energy is not a function of composition or not a function of orientation difference. It is an incoherent energy. And so interfacial energy, what is the order of interfacial energy in Earth per centimeter square? It's around 500 to 1000 Earth per centimeter square. And this strain energy per unit volume, the sigma for an incoherent interface has been found to be this sigma strain energy, elastic strain energy, because of some volume diameter. So where from this strain energy coming?
Volume difference or size?
Volume difference. Okay. So volume difference of the precipitate and the so this is per unit volume, sigma per unit volume. This is function of the elastic moduli of, say, elastic moduli, if I denote it by mu, mu of matrix, mu of embryo, and shape of the embryo. So sigma, that is the strain energy per unit volume of the precipitate, is function of the stiffness of the matrix, stiffness of the embryo and the shape. And what Navarro showed is how we write it here first. So if we assume that strain is predominantly in the matrix space, then only mu m will be coming into picture, and then the sigma m will be, the form of sigma m looks like this: 2/3 of mu of the matrix multiplied by the volume dilatation, that is volume of the precipitate divided by the volume of the, so fractional change of volume, square of that, multiplied by some term which is a function of C by A, that takes care of this shape. What is C by A? So this guy Navarro came up with this equation. He assumed the embryo to be a oblate spheroid, where A is the radii of the equilateral radii and C is the equilateral polar radii of that spheroid. So this is your strain energy depends on the shape, and this shape factor FC over A, he said that it becomes when C equal to A, C over A is 1, then this factor becomes 1. And as C decreases, so what is this point? This is for a sphere. When C equal to A, what is this point? When C equal to almost equal to 0. So it's kind of a thin disk. So when C tends to 0, when it becomes thin disk, this factor becomes 3/4 of C over A. This factor becomes linear with C over A, and this becomes 3/4 of C over A. Oh, 3/4 pi multiplied by C over A. But it's linear. And at very high value of C over A, somewhere here, the function becomes close to 1 but lower than 1. Somewhere here, okay. Now in between, because it is assumed to be a continuous function, in between it is just joined to have this type of curve. Although it is difficult to know what is the exact value of that. For C over A tends to infinity, that is very high, so it's a kind of needle shape. This shape is needle. This factor, shape factor, is somewhere below 1 but close to 1. It is so sigma will be lowest for which shape? If it is an incoherent precipitate, sigma will be lowest for disk shape, because if this factor should be low. But what that will make? That will make the surface energy per unit volume to be very high. Compared to sphere, surface per unit volume is very high for this step. So unfavorable from the point of view of interfacial energy, gamma. So actual shape is some oblate spheroid in between these two. And what oblate spheroid, the volume, the volume of an oblate spheroid, is given by 4/3 pi a square c, and your area is given by pi a square within bracket 2 plus c square over a square e. I will define e, ln 1 plus e divided by 1 minus e. That is the surface area of an oblate spheroid, where e is given by, e is a function of c over a, which is nothing but square root of 1 minus c square over a square. E is called the eccentricity. Your surface area is of an oblate spheroid of c polar radius and a equilateral radius is given by this, which is pi a square within bracket 2 plus c square over a square in the denominator e, and multiplied by ln 1 plus c over 1 minus c, where e eccentricity is given by square root of 1 minus c square over a square. So delta G, your delta G is your volume multiplied by your delta GV plus gamma plus sigma, and your area multiplied by gamma, which whatever we have written here, that is your delta G. Now that is a function of your A, comma C, comma, because sigma is function of AC, and also your composition. So to find out this delta G, so this delta G is a surface in a 4 dimension. This is delta G is a function of these 3 dimensions, A, C and composition. So the saddle point will give you the delta G star. How to find out the saddle point? You make delta G, delta A equal to 0, delta G over delta C equal to 0, and delta G XL equal to 0. All 3 simultaneous solution of these 3 will give you the saddle point. If your disc, if your embryo is very stiff, then it is usually of spherical shape, but if your elastic moduli of one of just one comment on incoherent precipitate, then I will end the class. Just bear with me for 1 minute. 1 minute. If your stiffness of the stiffness of the matrix is equal to stiffness of the embryo, then hold on, I will talk about this because it will take time. I will talk about tomorrow.